What's up, everybody? Ryan Michael Ballo here to talk about nootropics, of course. And I want to talk about a stack that I take. This is going to be a quick video that is sort of intermittently between sampling Cortex Gen 2, taking Cortex Gen 1, and a variety of other stacks that I take. There's this one stack that I take, which you could use too. 500 milligrams artichoke extract, 500 milligrams Shankapushpi. Shankapushpi, by the way, trying to be as valuable as I can here, is an Ayurvedic stack. It's a stack of 4 or 5 different compounds put together in capsules called Shankapushpi. It's Shankapushpi. There's no I after the middle H. It's just Shankapushpi. Shank with an H. Pushpi. Very interesting stuff. And that is a wonderful memory stack. I remember sitting down drinking wine with a great friend of mine probably about a year and a half ago, and we were finishing nearly finishing this big giant bottle of wine between the two of us, and I was starting to get like toasted, and like that's when for me cognitive decline just starts going downhill after like the half a bottle of wine drinking with a friend. And I remember my memory just we couldn't figure out this guy's name. We're just thinking about this guy's name that we both knew that we were trying to remember, and we couldn't remember the guy's name. In the middle of our conversation, I took the stack, and 20 minutes later, and the guy's name was just like right there. It was easy. And so I could feel my memory, my working memory and my long-term memory, my memory retrieval particularly, start to work really good with the Shankapushpi and artichoke extract stack. Again, 500 milligrams of both. But the stack that I want to talk about quickly today is another stack that I take that I would say is in between subtle and amazing. And for those of you who are connecting me on Facebook, I've already talked about this. For those of you who are not connected to me on Facebook, find me, Ryan Michael Ballo on Facebook, reach out to me. You can either follow or I'll accept your friend request, depends. And I put out a lot of content on Facebook, so I would love for you to connect with me there. But I posted something similar to this on Facebook, and so some of you know about it, but those of you who don't, check this out, which is a wide range of you probably. Here's the stack. The stack is 100 milligrams of alpha-glycerol phosphorylcholine, otherwise known as alpha-GPC, 300 milligrams of the amino acid L-theanine. It is 300 milligrams of the quat derived from the amino acid L-carnitine, acetyl-l-carnitine, or ALCAR, and it's 80 to 120 milligrams of caffeine. So let's just talk about mechanisms here and why this might work. First, let me just discuss how it makes me feel. I'm not quite sure, but I think alpha-GPC might be fat soluble. I'm not sure. I remember off the top of my mind. ALCAR, I'm pretty sure is water soluble. Theanine, probably water soluble. Caffeine, neither. Water soluble, probably. But it seems to me that the stack really starts to impact me after I've eaten food. So I would just make the general recommendation that you should take the stack 20-30 minutes before you eat, and then eat some food, and probably some fat. Eat some eggs or some fatty substance. Otherwise, you might not get the most effects from the stack right away, or it might take a while to onset until the next time you eat. This is kind of anecdotal, but this is how it works for me. Okay, how it makes me feel. Within about 20 minutes of the onset of the effects. So I should be clear. When I take it in the morning without eating anything, 20 minutes later I start to feel my brain turn on. That's probably because of the caffeine. But also the ALCAR starts to affect you too, because ALCAR, pretty sure, is water soluble. But then the theanine starts to affect me as well and make me calm and good and focused. But then I think once I go and eat breakfast, every time this happens, when I go and eat breakfast, it intensifies. And then I've got this like great brain function for the rest of the day. Essentially, the standout element of the stack, the standout benefit, is verbal recall, verbal fluency. I took it this morning and I'm just like on fire. Like you couldn't hear an or and or in my sentences if I tried to do it. My brain is just working really greatly. So there's verbal fluency. Mental energy, mental energy is another sort of significant thing for me. When I have mental energy, I know a nootropic is working really well. And I think that in my anecdotal experience, ALCAR, and really the science behind ALCAR and it energizing the mitochondria of brain cells for fatty acid usage via beta oxidation, really makes this work. It induces mental energy, and it also, I believe, helps glucose functionality, glucose uptake, or glucose utilization in the brain as well. ALCAR gives me great brain energy. So you've got the combination of theanine, caffeine, ALCAR, and alpha-GPC together, a lot of brain energy. Usable brain energy. And one of the most significant elements of a stack to me, besides verbal fluency, because that's like good determinant of a fully functioning stack, is the ability to work on cerebral tasks, sort of intellectual tasks. I want to use my brain when I take this stack. Versus if I just woke up and drank a cup of coffee or something, I might want to use my brain. I might be energized to do something, like run my business or do whatever, but it's different than being energized mentally or having the inclination to want to work on something deeply intellectual. And so I want to work on something deeply intellectual with the stack. Brain's ready to just work on stuff, and I'm pumped to go do it. You know, over breakfast every morning, I'm always like doing some sort of intellectual work or some sort of work, and I'm just like ready to do it. Then after breakfast, when it really starts to kick in for me, I just want to go at it and go to work. So there's that. Speed of processing. Speed of processing definitely improves for me with the stack, and it's substantial. I mean, it's totally noticeable. I think that verbal fluency and speed of processing kind of go hand in hand. One of the reasons that you're able to function so well verbally is because you have a faster speed of processing. Verbal recall just seems to be exceptionally enhanced from processing speed, but other elements of my processing speed I feel are better. When I'm in conversation with people, I think a lot quicker. When I'm here running one of my businesses, the phone rings, I'm thinking a lot quicker. When I'm sitting here doing this video, I'm thinking a lot quicker. Anything else I go to engage to do, I am thinking a lot quicker. And that essentially sums up the effects for me. It's a great holistically certain brain-specific performance enhancement targeting stack that I love. I mean, I love it. And sometimes I just don't want to like blow my brain out of my head with a stack. Sometimes I just don't want a super, like a modafinil sort of effect or a darafinil I've been experimenting with lately, and I like it, but sometimes I just don't want that effect. I'd rather have it a little different. And I gotta be honest with you, there's a difference certainly between this stack and a darafinil, but it's not that much different. You know, I mean, I have fast brain performance and a great focus capacity, great verbal fluency, great memory, great everything with both stacks. It's just that when it comes to the affinils, particularly a darafinil for me, my brain feels a lot lighter. It's just lighter on its feet. It's just like things are firing very quickly. Let's quick talk about mechanisms and just sort of why this might be happening. We discussed a little bit about ALCAR and enhancing the mitochondria of brain cells via better and more efficient usage of fatty acids in the mitochondria of brain cells, especially if you're eating a lot of fat, or if you're in ketosis, if you've eaten some coconut oil or something. I'm not into that whole fad like I used to be back in the day. I used to drink like bulletproof coffee and all this stuff, but it ended up, among a couple other things, it ended up inducing some health problems in me. So I've gone moderate fat. I still eat eggs and still eat, you know, fatty foods, but I just don't think that exclusively fat, especially in the absence of dietary carbohydrates, is a great idea. So that's the deal with ALCAR. ALCAR also eventually will yield acetylcholine in the brain. It's not a direct precursor. It's not as powerful as something like alpha-GPC or CDP-choline for that specific thing, but it will, through its various processes, eventually yield acetylcholine in your brain. Then there's alpha-GPC. Alpha-GPC is like wonderful. It, number one, contributes to phosphatidylcholine, the membrane phosphatide in the brain, just like CDP-choline does, except for CDP also induces, well, also turns to uridine partially, and then affects dopamine receptor densities, which is very cool. You get a motivating effect from it. I don't get that from alpha-GPC. Alpha-GPC is strictly functional improvements, memory improvements, verbal fluency improvements, stuff like that, which is, you know, incredible. Alpha-GPC will be a direct precursor for the neurotransmitter acetylcholine as well, in addition to helping the brain build phosphatidylcholine. So you've got, you know, a twofer, a powerful effect with alpha-GPC. Caffeine, we all know caffeine is going to turn on performance in a sort of speeding up processing kind of way. Maybe not necessarily enhancing verbal fluency or enhancing memory, not so much functional, but much more performance, which is totally cool. L-theanine induces alpha brainwave states in people, which is similar to the state that you get in when you meditate. When you're very, very calm and you're very, very meditated and you're very meditative and focused, if you were to hook up machinery to measure the electrical activity in your brain, you'd probably be in an alpha state. That sort of calm place is characterized by specific neurological activity, specifically brainwaves, and alpha states are those brainwaves. And L-theanine has been clinically shown to induce the alpha frequency in people's brains, so that's why it helps you to be calm. It's also pretty powerful, because I don't know if you've thought about this, but you know, if you're seeing this, but implicit in this stack is caffeine, the caffeine-theanine combo, which is a great combination for good brain performance that we did a video about too, called caffeine plus L-theanine stack, you know, my thoughts on it or something to that effect. Just Google it or YouTube live Cortex and that title and you'll find it. So it's got that combination in it too. And I've really just always been a fan in the past of ALCAR and alpha-GPC by themselves. That's kind of why I put this together. It's essentially putting a couple of my favorite stacks, alpha-GPC and ALCAR, and caffeine and L-theanine together for just a wonderful stack. So Try the stack, try it in those dosages: 100 of alpha GPC, 300 of theanine, 300 of Alcar, 80 to 120 milligrams of caffeine. Titrate your doses if it doesn't give you the best effect. See where you're at, and then go from there. I think you're going to love it if you can find the right dose for you. Thank you so much for watching. If you've not tried our stack, we built a pre-made stack called Cortex. The Cortex Nootropic stack is extremely powerful. All of the people that have sampled it have gotten a great effect from it, with the exception of, out of 50 beta testers, probably 2 users that were mildly unresponsive, meaning it didn't affect them the way that it affects other people, which is the case in the sort of margin for unresponsiveness for every nootropic, and it's actually really, really good. An old business partner of mine who we're not really friends with, so this guy isn't like doing me a favor here, but we used to be partners in business. I sent him a bottle of Cortex to try. He said, from his mouth, from his words, this is better than Siltep, and it's better than Alpha Brain. Those are some of the other pre-made stacks out there. He said it's the best nootropic stack that he's ever taken. And I'm not trying to just like blow smoke up your ass or mine or whatever, try to puff it out. This is truth. It's coming directly from his mouth. And most people think that. If you try the stack, you're going to see. You buy a bottle of Cortex, you'll see. I mean, it affects your brain right away. Particularly because we've got uridine monophosphate in there in pretty high quantity, and in an acceptably effective quantity, combined with CDP choline. So you've got CDP choline turning into acetylcholine. You've also got it working on dopamine receptor densities. You've got uridine working on dopamine receptors as well. You've got uridine inducing neurite outgrowth, potentially facilitating the upregulation of nerve growth factor. Uridine monophosphate works on working memory and verbal fluency. CDP choline on motivation. Uridine on motivation as well. The artichoke extract in the stack, very minimal, but I found that it actually helps the stack onset quicker and helps with working memory in the stack. And then the Bacopa monnieri in the stack is an adaptogen, which helps you respond to, essentially your body adapts to stress better taking an adaptogen. And Bacopa has years and years and years of research behind it, as you know, clinically, as well as a lot of anecdotal experience behind it. And it's an Ayurvedic herb that's been around for thousands of years. Very, very great stack. Grab a bottle of Cortex at livecortex.com. You are going to love it. If this is before August or September 2016, Gen 1 is out. Grab Gen 1. If it's after, likely Gen 2 is out, which is more powerful. You're going to love it. Thanks so much for watching. If this is on YouTube and you're watching this, please subscribe to the channel. More videos coming. We're just going to crank out a whole bunch of content. We're going to do videos of me making capsules and as much information as I can divulge. I've been taking nootropics and dealing with nootropics. Then I built a commercial stack. I've been doing all this for 6 years. I've got a lot of knowledge and I want to share all of it. Please subscribe. Check us out on iTunes. We have a podcast on iTunes. Just Google iTunes Live Cortex Podcast. Check us out, subscribe, and listen to the podcast. Last one we did was on Noopep 009, the science, power, and pitfalls of Noopep, where we talk about Noopep nasal spray and a bunch of other things. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Really appreciate you being here.